Okay, so good afternoon. Hello, hello. So to those of you who are joining me live and to those of you who are following up on the replay, I am delighted to be here today with you. My name is Helen Doyle. I'm a hypnotherapist and a mind coach, and I've actually learned a lot about sleep, but I've learned it from the clients who come to me. And they said, many of them have said to me, it's a side effect that they get an improved night's sleep because of the type of work we do together. And I just thought, wow, that's really interesting. Let's look at sleep itself and let's just see. So here's one of these little things. It's like, did you know that we spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping? It's quite a lot of time to just sleep. So there must be some reason that we need that sleep, some benefit from it. And another interesting fact is that 1 in 3 adults suffer from insomnia at some point in their lives. So I suppose some might find it more difficult maybe during perimenopause or menopause, but really and truly at some point in one's life, 1 out of 3 adults will suffer from insomnia, and that's quite a high number. So here's what's happening today then. In today's session, we're going to talk about why it's so important, why we'd spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping. That really signifies that it is very important. And so then if we can't get a good night's sleep, what are the challenges of insomnia? So we're going to look at some natural, practical solutions that can help us. Some of them you have to be watchful during the day. Some of them are the evening before you prepare for bed, and others are while you're settling to sleep. Okay? And then I'm going to talk to you about how hypnosis is actually a really powerful method of helping you to get that better quality sleep. And I'm bringing this, as I said, having worked with lots of different clients. There was one gentleman who came to me, and I remember distinctly, it was this time 2 years ago, and he came because he was suffering from depression. And 3 sessions later, when I was chatting to him, he said, "Oh my God, I'm getting such good sleep again." He said, "I haven't been sleeping for years." And that to me just was like, oh, this is wonderful, because now people can actually get that quality for themselves at night. So let's dive into why sleep is so important to us. What are the benefits from getting a good night's sleep? Well, first of all, we have the physical benefits. And secondly, then we have, and really importantly, we have the mental benefits. So on the physical benefits itself, sleep, it's the foundation for our good physical health. When you're sleeping, there's that sense of the strengthening the immune system. And I remember as a young child, my mother used to say things like, there's healing in sleep. And I often wondered what she meant by it. But in actual fact, it was the truth. There's that switch off time, and the body can just stop all the other processes. And so it can actually tend to the infection fighting work that it needs to do. So that will help you to fend off illnesses. Another aspect what happens is while you're sleeping, is while the body is in that lovely, relaxed, comfortable sleep state, then your hormones can rebalance. And we all need time to let those hormones rebalance, because basically we all have hormones and they're all regulating something in our lives. But one that I found particularly interesting was that sleep regulates hunger hormones. So if you're not getting enough sleep, the chances are you're being drawn into that overeating, hungry sensation, but you're actually hungry for sleep and pure, proper rest. And your sleep then, it supports a healthy heart as well, because deep sleep reduces blood pressure and it relieves the stress that's placed on the heart. Studies at this stage are showing that people who sleep less than 6 hours a night are at a greater risk of heart disease. So it is so important that we get our good quality sleep. Moving on to the mental benefits then. What are the mental benefits that we gain from getting a good night's sleep? Well, stress helps us to manage, or good sleep actually helps us to manage stress. Studies show that with fewer hours sleep a night, we become, when we get more sleep at night, we can become more resilient towards stress. We can handle things better. Good quality sleep, well, that enhances our memories. So we have less chance of going around going, where did I put that? Oh, did I forget to attend that meeting? We've more clarity in our mind as a result. So that's where good quality sleep is so important for managing stress, for enhancing the memory, and good quality sleep boosts your productivity. A lack of sleep shows difficulties with problem solving, with focus and creativity. In fact, we can be up to 30% less productive or less able to focus and to finish a task when we're sleep deprived or struggling and tired and weary in our minds and bodies. And so with the good quality sleep, people attend to and finish their tasks with much greater ease indeed. So let's have a look and see what happens within us during sleep. Well, one of the first things, and I think it's amazing, I think it ties in so well with the kind of work that I do, and that people feel this benefit, that they get this natural benefit of better sleep. It's because there's this brain detoxification that happens while you're asleep at night. You know, when you think in terms of out on the street, maybe the truck goes by and it's while you're in your bed at night, that truck is sweeping the streets clean. Well, you know, in exactly the same way, when you're resting in your bed at night and you're sleeping, there's a brain detoxification going on, and you're clearing your mind and your brain of that old difficult toxin sort of stress related stuff that you've dealt with during the day. At this stage, research would link poor sleep, that it's like it creates this brain fog. There's a memory, like we spoke about a few minutes ago, there's this memory lapse, lack of focus, lack of creativity, lack of concentration, so that you can't stay on task. And so to help release that, getting good quality sleep makes us way more resilient. We can stay on top of things. We're clearer in mind, fresher. And all of this happens because of good night's sleep. Isn't that just amazing? No wonder we'd spend up to 1/3 of our lives wanting to get that rest, because we know what's actually good for us. We know we need the rest. And another thing that happens during sleep at night is that there is this repair and rejuvenation. So when they came up with that phrase that you need your beauty sleep, maybe there was more to it than we just thought. But we began to take it in terms of beauty on the outside. But in actual fact, that beauty sleep, I think, is referring to the quality of sleep that allows our bodies to repair and rejuvenate. So when we're unwell and we get good quality rest and sleep, then the body can start to repair itself. If we have a scar or a cut, during that sleep process, when the energy of your body is not caught up in outward things, or it's not caught up in digesting your food or doing exercise or doing anything like that, it can be then creatively used on restoring the body. So in actual fact, it is repairing us and rejuvenating us. And maybe that term of getting your beauty sleep is truer than we thought. And it is actually hugely beneficial to body, mind, and spirit. Another thing that happens during our sleep cycle is that we release growth hormone. Now, for children release growth hormone all day and all night because they're on that active space of growing, 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 growing. Same happens with teenagers. They're developing, they're growing, growing, growing. Now, some of us have gone a little bit past all of that, but we still have growth hormone. And the more we can be in that good quality sleep to allow the growth hormone to be released during our sleep, during the night, well, then that helps us to repair our muscles and the tissues and the cells, because that's where the energy is being directed at that point. So it's particularly good for us for our repair. So I'm just wondering if you just stop for a moment here. And if you do have an issue with getting to sleep or staying asleep, just consider right now, what is the one thing that you struggle the most with? When it comes to getting a good night's sleep, what is that one thing that you struggle with? And the chances are, I'm guessing here, the chances are it's something to do with having been so busy all day, so stressed, the amount of thoughts in your head, the amount of challenges, the amount of things you've had to do. And that's where your energy is going. But nobody has told your energy that there was a switch off to that. And this is your designated sleep time, and you are entitled to your beauty sleep and your renewal sleep and your restful sleep. So what are the common causes of insomnia and broken sleep? Well, for me, working with my clients, I was just flabbergasted because I would deal with a lot of people who deal with stress and anxiety. And I've just been so amazed at the amount of people who get much better quality sleep once they begin to deal with the stress and anxiety that they've been handling in their lives. I think it goes a bit like this. When there's stress and anxiety, the body is in that fight or flight response, like it's on charge. And that doesn't get lowered. And so that is still up there, charged, maybe at a lesser level, but it's still charged, somewhere running in the background. And that is what disrupts the ability to get a good night's sleep and to switch down, relax down into that sleeping pattern. See, when your mind is racing with all of these to-do lists and the stuff that you did yesterday, was it okay? Did it work out all right? Wow, it's so hard to switch off at that point. And that is probably the most common cause of broken sleep and insomnia, where you just have difficulty getting to sleep. But there are other things as well, like we can have poor sleep habits. They don't help when you want to settle into a good night's sleep. Poor sleep habits would be things like irregular patterns, irregular times for going to sleep and irregular times for getting up in the morning. That is affecting your internal rhythm, your circadian rhythm, your pattern for sleep. And the body is not really sure what it's meant to be doing. So it's out of sync, out of twist. Another thing that happens with us is we can have too much famous screen time. Screen time. Maybe it is screen time. Maybe it's actually screaming at us some of that stuff we're watching on our phones and laptops and TVs and all the rest of it. It's just coming at us so intensely. And for people who are very visual, who pick up on pictures, it may be very hard for them to slow their brain back down. Blue light, they say it's given now that the blue light emitted from those gadgets that we use and that technology, it suppresses and delays the melatonin release. And that's signaling to the brain that we need to stay awake. Whereas some of us think, oh, I'll just do a little bit of scrolling and I'll settle down to sleep. It's not actually effective. It could very well be delaying the melatonin release, and your mind isn't getting the correct signal at all to switch down. Now, this one I find particularly interesting, and this is for people who need to be very careful, who may be sensitive to taking in different substances, and things like, for example, caffeine. Caffeine, we need to be aware that it can stay in your system for up to 8 hours. Quite a long time. And if it's staying in your system for up to 8 hours, that can have an effect on resting and relaxing and getting off to sleep. So that afternoon cuppa, 4 o'clock or whatever time you have it, that may be still in your system. And it's worth trying just taking that out and leaving it, because that may just be something that would help you release that, you'd be clearer in your body and wouldn't be reacting within from a substance like caffeine, for example, and you'd be able to settle off to sleep much easier. There are other things that are probably more medically they'd need to be dealt with. It's like if there's pain, if there's chronic pain conditions, then it can be just very physically, it can be very comfortable or very difficult, I should say, to find a comfortable space in your bed to twist or to turn or to get comfortable. That could be a challenge in itself. And other things like sleep apnea, well, again, we're talking medical condition there, where that can disturb your sleep cycle. And even though you get a full night in bed and seem to be asleep for that, the disrupting pattern of the breathing there can have a negative impact on the quality of the sleep and how restful and how peaceful it is. So some things maybe are a little bit beyond our control, but things that we can look after, I'll come to those in a minute and we'll talk more in depth about those. So what are the consequences of poor sleep? Well, the short-term effects are that we are frazzled, irritable, easily annoyed, weary, fatigued, just don't sleep well, can't get my mind around it, can't get on top of it. Even small tasks can feel overwhelming. So short-term effects are that really sense of just uptight and adding to the stress in the system. And then by releasing that stress, we're coming back into that flow of natural ease again. We can have difficulty concentrating. We can forget to attend a meeting, forget where we put things that were important, or if you're anything a bit like myself, you put things in a safe place and then you don't remember where it was. So we do need to make sure we are, I suppose, tuned into ourselves and rested and clear in mind. So we do have our concentration and our memory. The long-term effects, and there are long-term effects to having poor quality sleep, it can increase chronic disease. Things like obesity tend to be, a lot of the time, it can tend to cause obesity, that we're craving, we need something, we're craving and crying out for food. Maybe we don't necessarily need it, but we want something. It's like a comfort. Perhaps it is as simple as you didn't get enough sleep. Lack of sleep can cause depression, where you're not really in your mind fully 100% and you just feel down. You're not rested enough. Your body isn't charged enough. It'd be like running on half battery. And things like heart disease, diabetes, like studies are now showing that if you get fewer than 6 hours sleep at night on a consistent basis, that there is a higher risk of heart disease. So one client of mine, well, she was waking up every night at 3 a.m. in the morning. And immediately her mind was going to things to do with work, stressing with work, trying to figure out how she'd do things. What way would this go? What way would that go? And so to improve her sleep habits, we did some work on reducing the stress, and immediately her sleep began to improve. Now, she is great. She enjoys uninterrupted sleep and feels way more energetic every single day. Much happier, much more focused, much more concentration, and she is delighted with life. So what are the natural ways? And that's why we're here, I suppose, is to talk about natural ways to get tips on how to maybe look out for ourselves a little bit better. So during the day, kind of thought about it and I thought, let's have a look at during the day. If there's something you can do during the day, if there's something you can do late in the evening, and if there's something to do when you're actually in the bed, getting yourself to sleep, what are those things? Well, one I mentioned earlier, and that's the caffeine. And I would be saying to you, avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. in the day. Now, some people, doesn't bother them at all. They seem to have no problem with it. But there are people who are very sensitive to substances like caffeine. And so try eliminating it out of your diet, from 2 o'clock onwards in the day. And that will give your body time to metabolize it out of your system so that you can feel less fired up, more relaxed is what you want to be. If you're doing something like in the evening when you're preparing for bed and you're winding down in the evening time, let's look at that one. If you're having something like a glass of wine to just help you relax, well, that might be very nice. But in actual fact, the effects of that then later on in the night, it disturbs your REM sleep. It's not the same quality. So that would have a knock-on negative effect on the quality of your sleep. Or if you feel like, oh, maybe I'll just do a bit of scrolling and I'll just switch off and it'll settle me down. Again, we're talking about those blue lights, that it just stops the ability of the body to just slow down and rest. The images might still be running in your subconscious mind and you're like, whoa, with all of the different things you've just been watching. So that's another thing to watch out for. And whilst exercise is wonderful for us, and I would be advocating for 30 minutes of exercise every day if you can, every 2 or 4 days a week, certainly. But do avoid any kind of vigorous exercise when it's coming up to your bedtime. Because again, that's flowing energy at speed through you. And it's not having the required effect of bringing you down into that lovely, gentle state. So we talk about a thing called sleep hygiene. So that is all about consistently going to bed at a regular hour at night and waking up at a regular hour in the morning. And that is to strengthen the circadian rhythm of your body. Your body knows what to expect. This is the time I go to rest. This is the time I wake up. And your body, it's like we actually love routine. That's why it works so well. Less screen time, as I've said already. Just maybe avoid the screens for an hour or two before you go into bed. Maybe it might be more soothing for you to read a book or practice a nice calming activity. Just gently stretch or just relax yourself. And using the power of the environment around you to actually utilize that. Maybe it's good to have your bedroom at a nice cool temperature. They suggest 15 to 20 degrees Celsius is a nice, comfortable temperature for your bedroom. And if you find it easier to sleep when it's dark, well then blackout curtains, or very simply an eye mask is a wonderful way. And again, the way it does it is it's blocking out that outside world and the darkness. It's blocking it out. It's no longer of relevance to you. And that's a message again to your mind to just come back in, relax. There's nothing else going on. And to have your room nice and quiet is another lovely one, so that there's less distractions from noise that's pulling you out there again in your mind or in your imagination. Having your room nice and gently, quiet, cool and comfortable. That is a lovely message for your body and your mind that you are coming into that switch off, relaxed time. When you're lying in your bed, of course, at night, there are very specific things that you can do. And in your bed, it may be helpful for you because I'm going to say it this way, I think. Oftentimes, we fight with ourselves. Lying in the bed, tossing and turning. I have to go to sleep. I'm up in 3 hours. I haven't had a wink of sleep yet. Oh my God, you're fighting with yourself. Do you do that? Is that something that goes on with you? And while you're fighting with yourself, again, you're in that heightened state. The message to your mind and body isn't one of, let's relax here. Arguing that way with yourself, it tends to keep the fight or flight response in the parasympathetic nerve up and alive. But what you actually want to do is bring it down and rest. And so to access and to help the parasympathetic nervous system to come down into that state, That's where deep breathing can help. You could consider inhaling for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. This is giving a message to your breath, relaying a message to your parasympathetic nervous system that it can stand down. It can take this time to switch off and truly relax. And that is a very beneficial thing to do. And for that, you need the patience just to stay with it and just bring yourself back. But please, please, please do not fight with yourself. Do not argue with yourself. I'm just breathing. No, just come back. Just come back gently and start again and keep staying with it, because the message is just needing to move into the parasympathetic system to allow it to promote that relaxation. Another thing we can do is do something like mindfulness, where we take a few minutes just focusing on our breath, just being aware of it coming in, how it feels, how it releases, and the sound that it makes. You can even go with the sound of it and the feeling of it and count it. And all of that brings you again, using the breath, using how comfortable the blankets are on you, the duvet. Just all of that makes you mindful of, this is my bed, this is my space, this is where I'm taking rest time, and allow yourself to sink into that feeling, not fight into it, sink into it. And then there's things you can do just to really entertain your mind while you're resting. And I would do techniques with people like, when you're lying in your bed, just breathe in through your fingers, all the ways up, flowing through your body, and exhale through your toes. You see, now you're not fighting with yourself or being irritable with yourself or the situation that you're in. You're actually bringing your mind into your body, into the space that you're in the bed, and you're just training your mind just to stay in that space. You're teaching the body yet again to release and relax the parasympathetic nervous system and just rest into yourself. But here's the piece, and this is the piece that I absolutely want to share with you. When clients have come back to me having worked on stress or anxiety or fears or phobias, or could be trauma, could be PTSD, whatever, and they report back to me and they say, I'm getting so much better sleep. I feel so much better and I'm sleeping so much better. Wow, that's the bit that really interests me. And what did I do with them to help them? Well, during the relaxation that I would have done with them to release the stress, release the anxiety, ease the depression, clear the phobia, whatever, I would have used hypnosis to help them access the parasympathetic nervous system and that part within themselves where they can truly relax, renew, and recharge. And as that released the stress, then they could rest into their bed at night, roll into their space, and allow sleep to come naturally. And isn't that what we all love? To allow the sleep just to move through us in a natural way. So hypnosis calms an overactive mind, absolutely, folks, 100%. And when I work with you, I guide you into that deeply relaxed state, rewiring those unhelpful thought patterns around sleep and relaxing you into that space where I'll try that again, where sleep is welcomed in. I get many testimonials from my clients And one of them lately was a lady called Anne, and she sent me back some feedback because she had a very high power job. A lot of work, a lot of presentations, a lot of meeting with people, a lot of driving, on the go all the time. Very stressful situations. And once she began to lower the stress, the sleep came naturally. Now that's just so fabulous to get those kind of feedback. So I would love to give you a little taster session here today. So if you are looking to improve your sleep, well, here, let's just sit into it for a moment. Let's just give you a taste of what it's like to switch your mind down out of the stress states and come right back down into that lovely, clear, relaxed space where sleep can come. So just while we're doing this, I'm going to say to you, make sure you have a nice, comfortable place just to sit and that you won't be interrupted. It's only just a couple of minutes, and I'm not actually going to take you into sleep here, but I'll show you how a taster session can just give you that sense of, yes, I can do this. And it's a lovely, easy way to relax yourself back down. So just exactly as you are, as long as you're not driving or operating machinery, this is perfect. So just allowing your eyes just to very gently close on down and bring your awareness to your feet, just feeling comfortable exactly as they are. And allow that comfortable feeling to travel through your legs all the ways up into the area of your hips, soothing, easing, relaxing the hips. And that relaxation then traveling up into the area of your tummy, releasing away any stress or tension from the area of your tummy, allowing it to fill with cool, comfortable relaxation. Relaxation then traveling up into your chest. You're aware of your breath. It's just gentle in-breath and out-breath, following the breath. So comfortable, so easy, and so relaxing. Relaxation moving into your shoulders. If you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, I suggest that right now you can put it right down. Let it go. And let that comfortable feeling of relaxation, of calmness, just to sweep in around your shoulders, filling the space instead. Relaxation traveling down your arms, through your elbows and wrists, right down into the palms of your hands, into your fingers and thumbs. So right now, your entire body, your arms, your legs, are just settling into that lovely, comfortable, easy relaxation. And allow that relaxation now to travel on up through your neck, moving up into the area of your head, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your mind, your brain, your scalp, your skull. Just relaxing. Simple as. There's nothing that you have to do. You're just allowing yourself to be. And right now, just let's go on a little mental holiday, perhaps. I'm going to ask you to remember back to a time when you were much, much, much younger. When you were a tiny little child and you had no worries, no to-do lists, no having meetings to attend to. None of that. You remember that time? And just imagine that you were maybe sitting on a chair, just looking out through a window. But then again, maybe you were lying on a lovely grassy lawn, looking up at the sky. Wherever you were as a little child, or maybe you saw it on a movie, whatever way it works for you to imagine this scene, just go with it. You're just lying on the grass, perhaps, looking up at the sky, looking up at those beautiful clouds, those wispy white clouds. Such a relaxed feeling. Just no cares, no worries. Don't have to compare yourself to anyone. You don't have to be concerned if somebody's what they're thinking about you. It's got nothing to do with it. It's just you and the vast blue sky and those beautiful, fluffy little clouds. And you're watching those light, wispy clouds as they dissolve and stretch out, dissipate maybe, and they just float on by. And as you're watching those clouds, such an easy thing to do, such a comfortable space to be, just imagine that you're transported magically from watching the clouds and you end up back in your bed. That's right, ending up back in your own bed where you're just warm and safe and secure and completely at ease. And right now, imagine just sinking down into your bed, sinking down into that lovely, comfortable feeling of being calm and relaxed and at ease. And in that space, your parasympathetic nervous system just very gently begins to calm and to feel more relaxed, more at ease. And it begins to lead you into that space where restful sleep can begin to move. You see, in this kind of deep relaxation, I can guide you into that lovely sense of space where sleep can come to you. And through this beautiful medium of hypnosis, as a hypnotherapist, I can guide you into that calm, progressive relaxation where you can train your mind just to let go of stress and troubles and worries, and to allow that feeling of being safe, secure, calm and relaxed to begin to come gently to you. And all of this can happen so effortlessly for you as you learn to allow your nervous system to relax and to rest, and you drift gently into that wonderful world of sleep. And so right now, that is just a taster session of how gently I can help you train your mind to come from the state of high anxiety or stress or worry right down into that lovely, calm, peaceful state that absolutely does allow sleep to come gently to you. And if you have enjoyed this taster session, please do feel free to give me a call or book a nice relaxation or a discovery call with me. And I'll have a chat with you and see how this could possibly help you too. So right now, I'm just going to count you back again to everyday awareness. And absolutely, having had a little moment where you've checked out of stress and strain and worry, you do come back into the everyday awareness with more focus, with more concentration, and with your own sense of well-being refreshed and renewed. So coming right back then to focus, to concentration, and to lovely sense of well-being, coming right up from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I'm hoping you just enjoyed that lovely taster session. And as you can see, that's quite a short session, but there's so much can be done. And I'd love to be able to help you. So the takeaways today were that we've explored why sleep matters to us. We've talked about the impact of insomnia and sleeplessness. And we've talked about the natural ways, things that we can absolutely do to help ourselves. But if it's something that you think that would help you to have personalized guidance or ways of overcoming insomnia by maybe the use of hypnosis, well, then that's where I come in. And I would be delighted to have a free consultation with you just to talk that through with you. If you want to know more, you can check on my website, www.helendoyletherapy.com, and you can schedule a free call there. And I would be absolutely delighted to meet you there and to chat with you there. So, our next session will be coming up in 2 weeks' time, and we'll be talking all things depression on that particular one. But as I sign out from here today, where we were talking about all things to do with sleeping well, I say to you, your journey to sleep starts better with small, gentle steps. And thank you for joining me. And I do wish each and every one of you a wonderful night's sleep tonight. Thank you.